Good night, good night, good night. Welcome back to our channel, The Journey of Nikaya from Normal to CP. How have you guys been? I'm okay. Nikaya is okay, stable, yes. Guys, please remember to like up the videos, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, be respectful, and share. Yes, share. So I'm Yannick, I'm Nikaya's mom, and I hope you guys remember where the story time is coming from. You remember the last one? If you don't remember or have never watched it, please go to story 1, story 2. Now we'll be doing story 3. But remember guys, like, share, leave a comment, and most of all, subscribe. Alright, so where I had left off was at the point where Nikaya is now 2 years old. So she did the last surgery and she's now 2 years old going. So with her situation, she's wearing a shunt, as they call it, a VP shunt. So that works in as the alternative route for the fluid. That's where it passes through from the brain down to the stomach, right? Okay. There's once a child is wearing a shunt, she has to be on the neurosurgery clinic, as well as she has to do a series of testing to see, after a period of time, to see if the shunt is in the right place, if because I guess she can grow it out too, and there's just some series of things that they look for once you're wearing a shunt. Okay, we had done the test, say October, right, of 2015, and everything was okay. Everything came back okay. Now, the following year, 2016, this is when it all started. Now the real thing started. Nikaya vomited one night. When she vomited, nothing happened the next day, just vomited one night. Okay, she went on, and nothing for the following day. Back to the night, like maybe she skipped a night, and then another night she vomited again. And I guess from there she started feeling sick. So she was like more, touching the head, the forehead, saying the head hurts. Alright, she continued vomiting, throughout Saturday. So she vomited Thursday night, didn't vomit Friday. Saturday it continued right through. So, we know that Nikaya has a shunting. Yes, we did not do any checks and to see what was the side effects, or if anything should go wrong, what we should look for. I didn't do any check. We live and we learn. Alright. Nikaya started vomiting. We took her to the doctor. First doctor we took her to, the doctor said it was a bug. So okay, you hear it was a bug. You're not taking it serious because it's just a bug. But the baby, she stopped eating. She wasn't taking much food anymore, and she was just getting sicker and sicker. You got stuff to give to her, nothing wasn't working. Okay, I took her back to another doctor, because by now a week have passed. Took her to another doctor. The doctor said what? Guess what? What did the doctor say, guys? It's a bug. That doctor came so close, because I always pointed out that she's diagnosed with hydrocephalus. Therefore, your doctors, you know what to do, what checks to do or to make once a child comes in with hydrocephalus and is complaining for certain things. He came so close because he was there checking her head up and all of that. But then he came to the same conclusion as the other doctor. It's a bug. So I'm like, everybody's saying it's a bug, it's a bug. Alright, two doctors, that's a bug. My child, still sick, still vomiting, not eating, getting weaker. Decided, no, okay, I'm going to the hospital, you know. So we went to the hospital, told the doctors the same thing, hydrocephalus diagnosed. She's vomiting and she's complaining for head because she's always doing this. Stop eating all that. The doctors did the necessary checks too again. They had her on the outpatient for the whole day. I saw the head doctor that first saw her, that pedia doc, Dr. McKenzie. And she said, what are you doing here? And I said, Nikai is vomiting. And she said, Mommy, so why are you here? Why you don't take her to Montego Bay? And I said, but I can't just get up and just take her out now because they don't have her outpatient, you know, watching her for the day. Eventually in the evening, they too said, it's a bug. Now can you imagine? They are the experts. They are the doctors. You tell them about hydrocephalus. You tell them the symptoms. And everybody comes up with, it's a bug. So these people, they are not taught of hydrocephalus in med school. They have not gotten any case because I'm sure they are not new first timers or interns. So nobody's taught of what to expect if something is wrong with a hydrocephalus child, the certain complaints that the child may have. Nobody knows. Alright. It continues to the point where my daughter's eyes were cast. Them call it cast eye. So the medical term would be maybe sundowning. Now sundowning, her eyes, both eyes are looking into the nose. So that's what we call cast eye. We Jamaicans, I don't know if up here call it cast eye, but we Jamaican call it cast eye. So I was saying to her, Dad, why Nikai have a cast eye? And he was like, because maybe she not eating. I'm like, how many people you see sick are not eating? You don't see the eye casting in the head. That not look right, you know. Anyways, we still continue. I was so worried. I had an exam. I had CXE accounts exam to do. The way I was so concerned, I went to the exam and I sat there and I was just looking. You know, I was just looking, and the invigilator came and she said, what's wrong? What is wrong? Why are you not doing anything? I said, my baby is sick. My daughter is sick. And I have no idea what's going on. I couldn't focus to do that exam. Anyways, I managed to do whatever and, you know, went home. Nikaya, eyes in, more weak, can't walk, reach that point where she can't even get up. That's how weak my child was. So one morning, you know, she woke up and she was like, Daddy, I want to see Spider-Man. And Daddy was like, what's Spider-Man? He said, Spider-Man. So Daddy always play a game. So in that game, the characters look like Spider-Man to her. So she said she wanted to see Spider-Man. So he got up and he put the game on. And she was like this, Daddy, I can't see. So he was like, what do you mean you can't see? So that time her head couldn't turn. Her head was like this. So that's when he said, no man, this is serious. So he ran to her aid and, you know, he started massaging the neck, you know, and he was telling her, turn to your brother, because the brother was right there. And, you know, she managed to turn it after he, you know, he massaged it a little. He said, no, this is serious. This is serious. We need to rush with her to Montego Bay because that's where she did the very first surgery. And all her checks, you know, every clinic was Montego Bay. When we got there, you know, they did, you know, the necessary CT scans, you know, and After they did the CT scan, they said, okay, the shunt was dislocated, and it looked like she grew it out. Because Nikaya, as you notice, you have seen her, she's 8 years old and she's tall. So her dad side, they're tall people. So Nikaya grew out her shunt. Funny thing about it, look how many times we did so many different checks, and it's just few months apart, and Nikaya grew her shunt out. Okay, so they decided that okay, she's gonna have to do surgery. We took her, they admitted her, and it took a while before they took her in, and we had her out there, with her. She was calm, she was going, until eventually they said, okay, they're gonna take her to surgery. Nikaya came out of surgery at 11:30, so she went in about 6 something that evening. She never came out of surgery until 11:30. So I imagine they maybe woke her up, had her in the recovery room. I don't know, but I was wondering why the surgery was taking that long if you're just gonna be taking out a shunt, and replacing it with another. Anyway, she came out 11:30. My daughter was back to herself, asking for tea. Because 2 years old, she still take her bottle, she still take her tea. She said, Mommy, I want tea, Mommy. We're at the hospital. We never planned or prepared for tea and food, because remember, guys, she's been sick for 2 weeks. Wasn't eating, wasn't drinking. I so happened to buy a chips that day when I got to the hospital. I bought a chips and I put it in the bag, because I said, just in case, I could have it to give it to her. She said, Mommy, I want chips, Mommy. Sorry, she asked for the tea, and I gave her the chips as well. How I got the tea was the nurse said, oh, we have sugar. We got the water, we made it, sugar and water tea. That's what was the tea for the night. Doesn't matter what it was. As we all know, maybe some people have, drinking that tea back in Jamaica or something. Anyways, we gave her, she drank it. She said, Mommy, tea done, Mommy, tea done. And she said, chips. She said, chips done. She drank her tea and then she said, chips done, Mommy, chips done. And she turned and she went to sleep. So we had to leave the ward, because in Cornwall Regional, you're not allowed to stay on the ward. So we got off the ward. We never left the hospital. We stayed at Ward 3, 3rd floor. That's where everybody comes in for clink and all of that. So we decided, okay, we're gonna stay up on these benches for the night. We're not going far. Plus, it's not like we had plans to stay anywhere either. We're coming from Westmoreland. Staying at the hospital was the only option we had at the time. So we sat there, me and her dad, and we talked, and until daylight. We went back to the ward. When we went back to the ward, she said, Mommy, she said, Daddy, I want chicken. I want KFC. You were happy to hear that, because Nikaya is up asking for chicken. Before I got to that, guys, they placed her with an external drain. So instead of her wearing her regular shunt on the inside, Nikaya was now placed with an external drain. So her fluid no longer drains on the inside, but it drains in that bag on the outside. Now, how that shunt, that's a form of shunt, that's an external shunt. How that shunt works is it has to be the measurement of her head lying down. So it's not supposed to be not too high, not too low, because if it gets higher than her height on the bed, it's gonna drain her too much. And if it's too low, it's gonna take her a longer time to get rid of the fluid off her brain. So she had that on. At the time, guys, I never understood a thing about nothing about an external drain. Okay, back to the point where she asked for chicken. She wanted KFC. So it was at that time now, we said, okay, we're gonna go get the chicken for her. My friend had a place in Montego Bay. He said that, I could stay. I could shower, I could take a rest. Yes, when we went to Montego Bay, once we were rushing with her, we already packed bags with overnight clothes because we had no idea what it was going to be, because we never planned on leaving the hospital or leaving there. We're moving on faith. Blindly, we're moving. We packed a bag. Well, I packed the bag. That's how I am. I planned for everything. I packed the bag. We went. So that friend said, you know what, we could go and take a rest, take a shower. So the fact that Nikaya is out now, did her surgery and is asking for food and all of that, you have a more easier nerve and mind. You can say, okay, I can relax a little before I bring the KFC back to her. So that we did. We went to the friend's house and we took a rest. Okay, guys, eventually in the evening now, it's by evening now because that's the rest, because from the Kaya got sick, we got no sleep, we got no rest, we were just there. So we took that little rest and we went back, got the KFC for her, took it to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, she said, that asked the nurse if we could take her out of bed. The nurse said, yes, go ahead. First mistake. You can't just take Nikaya out of bed like that with an external drain. It has to be the fact that they may the doctors may, tell them, turn it off for a few minutes, let the child sit up a little, or something of the sort. She said, sure, we can take her up. The fact that her dad took her up, she started vomiting. He put her back down. He started wiping her off. He cleaned her up. And Nikai was there, still talking to me. Mommy, I want you to sing this song on the bus. Before he even got to that, my friends came to visit and they were standing close to her KFC. And she was like, Mommy, don't let them take my KFC. Don't let them. I'm like, nobody wants your KFC, honey. It's there. And she watched the KFC. Anyways, she said, Mommy, can you sing this song with the bus? So I was there like, what song is sung with the bus? And the only thing I could think of was the wheeze on the bus go, So I started singing and I was, wheeze on the bus. While singing, I was doing this. And because, guys, I was so tired. We were tired. And I was still there, singing that one song. I heard Nikaya said something, but then when she spoke, no one could understand. I'm like, guys, come here. Come and tell me what Nikaya is saying. Everybody thought that it was because she maybe had done surgery the night before why she is talking like that. When Nikaya wasn't talking like that before, but still, we didn't pay too much of attention to that. Her talking like that, like her tongue is heavy. That's how she was talking. Anyway, I went back to singing the song, the wheels on the bus, and I was there. Guys, when I opened my eyes, my daughter was stiffing out. Her eyes were turning over. And that's the first time I'm now experiencing seizure. So I called out, I said, nurse, something not right. Come. The nurse came. There was nothing. It's like she was clueless as hell what to do. This child having a seizure, just came from surgery last night. What do I do? She was over there, I don't know. They moved me from the bedside because, trust me, I was just crying. Everybody started coming down because everybody was shocked to know that this little girl, everybody started to give me the 2 cents on what Nikaya was doing for the time that we were away taking that little rest. Everybody was telling us how smart this little girl was. Like, they can't believe this is happening to her now. The nurse tried calling the doctors. Nobody was coming for a good half an hour, almost an hour. There was no doctor that came. No doctor came. It was just that nurse. And as far as I see, she was clueless. Because the first mistake, you can't just tell me to take up a child with an external drain. There are protocols, there are things that you need to do before you can do such thing. Alright, eventually she called, they said the doctors were at surgery. Theta. So my child is there with seizure. Nurse don't know what to do, and there's no doctor. So every doctor is in surgery, it seems. Eventually they came. When they came, they took her for CT. They didn't. I don't think they did any other checks or whatever to see what was going on with the drain. Nothing. They took her for CT scan, that is. When they took her for CT, when they brought her back, the nurse said to me, "Mommy, you know that the same amount of fluid that Nikaya came here with the day before, is the same amount of fluid on her brain." Remember, I said, guys, Nikaya is wearing an external drain. So how is it that the same amount of fluid that child came into the hospital with is the same amount of fluid on her brain? You all tell me, comment down below what that means. Because if you're wearing an external drain that is supposed to take that fluid off your brain into a bag, why does my child have the same amount of fluid that my child has been struggling with weeks before in this hospital, when you all should be monitoring the bag, see if what was going on with it? Same amount of fluid on her brain. Guys, you know we come to the end of story 3. For now, y'all gonna have to tune in for story 4, story time 4. It gets interesting. Remember, guys, the same amount of fluid I brought her in with was the same amount of fluid on her brain. What do you all think about that? Okay, tune in to story time 4 to hear what happened, what went down from there. Remember, my child is now blind, legally blind, can't walk, so mobility went, and little speech. So y'all want to hear more about that? Tune in for the next story time, which will be next Monday. Life spare and all is well. Now please, guys, don't leave without pressing the like button. If you have not subscribed yet, please, I'm begging you all, subscribe. Leave a comment, communicate with us. Please share the video, share it to somebody, share it to your family. Tell them, watch this, it's very interesting. For a normal child, my child was normal, seeing, talking, walking, everything, as y'all see on a video that we have posted before. So share it up. Please subscribe, please like, please share, leave a comment. God bless you all. I'll be back with a next story time. I'm Yannick, Nikaya's mom. Peace. I'm out.